2.
Candice LeRae, what is her WWE future? We know that she's having a child right now, but is she going to stay with the WWE much, much longer, since it looks like her husband, Johnny Gargano, is also out the door? Maybe? We're presuming that much? We're going to get into all this and much, much more on today's Sportskeeda Wrestling Top Story of the Day.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Graphics. Watch out. What's up? It's another three-headed Cerberus of wrestling fun and newsdom for you right now. Now, here is the challenge to you, faithful viewer, whether live or on demand, is to share the link, for thou shall not stink. All right, we will get into news about Candice LeRae. We will get into the news about the most listened to wrestling themes. I know a lot of people get very angry and very protective of their wrestling themes. All right. We'll talk about that and much, much more. And a lot to dive into. I'm not alone. Jose G, Jeremy in Nebraska, if he asked you. And I am Kev Kellam. Jump into the comments below and get on screen with us as well. Let's get into this lead story here. Candice LeRae, what is her WWE future?
Yeah, man. So today we got some backstage news on Candice LeRae's status with WWE and when we can expect her contract to expire. Now, it was previously reported that the NXT superstar Candice LeRae was set to expire sometime down in 2022. Dave Meltzer had reported that it would expire in May of 2022. Then Fightful Select reports that the deal is actually expiring sometime in spring of 2022, which is right there in May, because May is kind of like dead smack middle of spring. So we're getting some reports that it's going to be probably first, second quarter of next year when we can expect Candice LeRae, her contract to expire. I don't know if she's going to come back, if she's going to re-sign. It looks like she has a good relationship with the company. We don't know if Gargano is going to resign, after last night's events, which was very eventful when he was given that emotional goodbye at last night's NXT. Grayson Waller, trying to grab that brass ring and taking out Gargano with a steel chair to send them goodbye. But we did get to see some cool stuff afterwards where Gargano and Michaels and Kyle O'Reilly were all sharing a heartfelt moment there where they were all just kind of hugging it out and kind of giving their goodbyes. So, but yeah, man, I don't know exactly what's the future for Candice LeRae. That is the news that we have at the moment, sometime early 2022.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because you always have those deals like when you're injured and the stuff gets pushed back in terms of the contract. So apparently the pregnancy does not do that, where it extends the contract out.
She appeared on camera several times while having a child. She was cutting angles for them and different stuff like that. She, I guess, still had a role, and I guess that plays a role in it.
She was on camera last night too.
Yeah, but also it's worth noting she's going to have this baby in February. You're not going to see her in the ring right away.
No.
I
mean, it took Becky how long? It took Becky a while to get back into the ring.
And everyone's different with how they want to approach.
Still impressive though, man. It takes a woman's body well more than a year to get back to normal from pregnancy, But the fact that Becky Lynch was able to come back in less than a year to be in tip-top shape speaks to the type of athletic person that she is.
Yeah, more power to the ladies here, and definitely, Lacey Evans going through the same thing. She's been having, she just had a baby about a month and a half ago, and was out of the picture in WWE.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to be the feminist of the group here. All right, because the fact that they don't extend the contracts for the women that are pregnant, that is sexist. Why do men or women, when they get injured, okay, they're taking time out, but women's bodies need time to recover from pregnancy. Why are they not extending their contracts when they're pregnant?
Like a roll. Well, the thing is, some people say it's bad if they're extending your deal.
Yeah,
just pay me for the time I'm under contract and give me my guarantee, right?
Yeah, you're stuck and not where you're at. I want to.
Yeah, it depends on your side of the issue, right? Yeah. And in terms of how you get treated on the deal, a lot of people are like, oh, how could you do that? How could you roll over someone's deal and keep them under contract when they don't want to be there, or they want to go and do other things outside of WWE and they can't until they're out of their deal? And
there may be some maternity payment too, like that is not part of the contract or outside of the contract.
Maybe.
That extends past the deal. Of course, the deal is still, usually maternity leave is, a few months, and that's actually right when this deal ends. And so, you know, it may just kind of coincide with everything there. Yeah, and hearing from people that were at the CWC last night, you know, you had the angle with Grayson Waller, but it did feel, a lot of people felt like it was a goodbye, though. I don't know. It wasn't shown on camera, but you had Kyle O'Reilly out there. Tommaso Ciampa was out there as well. It was pretty cool. I'm sure if you look hard enough, you could find some videos of all that after it went off the air on Twitter or something like that. But a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, it was quite the moment, and they built up to it, and I was watching it. It was one of those things where I felt I needed to see this live. And I wonder if there's going to be I'm not saying it's going to be a gigantic peak in numbers, but I wonder if there'll be a bigger, like a slight bump up from post pay-per-view and people kind of knowing where this is going. And the thing to note about this is it definitely seems like there's a question mark. WWE clearly wants both guys to stay. They clearly got a send-off here in some form or another. But it wasn't stated like, yeah, I'm done or this or that, right? It was odd they waited the entire show for Gargano to speak at the end, that he got to have essentially the main event with a goodbye promo, and then they cut an angle with him. And they did that with Kyle O'Reilly. He lost clean in the middle, you know, the old school territory, put someone over on the way out. And then Gargano did the same thing by being attacked by Grayson Waller, who is the biggest clout chaser now in NXT by putting him on the table.
NXT dropped down to 590 this week. They Thurston put that out earlier this afternoon.
All right, so that number's out then.
Yeah.
So my take is you definitely rode away for them to immediately come back in the picture, or at least if they're leaving, they put some people over on the the way out. And
I mean, Grayson Waller. I mean, he got denied by a lady who ended up going with LA Knight. Yeah. And so he was a little fired up and pissed off. So he decided to take it out on Johnny. And I mean, you have to earn the asshole chant. You have to earn that asshole chant. And Grayson Waller earned an asshole chant last night. So that definitely was big for his career going forward as a heel. You know, you don't just get handed that asshole chant.
Yeah, he made me not like him last night, and that he's definitely starting to do his job a lot better as a heel now. Yeah. And what I think that was great. I think what he did for his character was great, and the old school mentality of Johnny Gargano just putting over on the way out. Yeah, I think it worked great. It worked great.
Man, he was holding back them tears, wasn't he?
Yeah,
especially coming right out of the gates, man. He had to hold them babies back.
Especially when you come out to your old theme song, you know?
Yeah.
So what is his future? You know, I mean, I think with Gargano, he made it a little bit more clear. You're not going to see me for a while. I'm going to have a kid. And that's going to be the thing I kind of focus on. Yeah. And then you see these images of them being embraced by Shawn Michaels on camera and posing with, you know, all those different things. Give you the sense that if, for lack of a better, one of these guys is gone. You know, like one of these guys is gone for sure. And it definitely seems like Gargano was a bigger deal if he is indeed leaving. But they definitely left it like hanging loose in terms of what was going to happen. And they cut an angle if they do need to come back. If they do want to come back, they can do it. I mean, obviously, if Gargano popped up in the Royal Rumble, it would be quite interesting. I'm doubtful of that because he's having the baby right.
Yeah, I think
pure speculation there, by the way.
I think with Candice's deal ending up in May, I think Candice and Johnny may sign together and sign with NXT. I think they'll probably re-sign with NXT and do it together and have both of their contracts start at the same time once we get to that point.
I think we could probably expect, and again, this is pure speculation, maybe summer of 2022, more when Candace is recuperated, you know, from that, maybe even late summer of 2022, maybe Halloween Havoc next year, or even War Games. It will probably be about a good year before we see both Candace and Johnny.
That's All Elite is hanging over this whole thing, right?
I don't think so. I
think Kyle's going there, but I think Johnny's going to re-sign with NXT.
I think Johnny will definitely re-sign with Candace. Johnny is.
You're building a family, and they're going to throw a lot of money at you. So it's almost like take another big payday because you've got a baby now. So
I also think there's a sense of Gargano with the way he was treated, you know, Kyle O'Reilly got to open the show, but who got to close the show?
Yeah,
and
overrun it.
And overrun it. And so I'm of the thought, I think there's more of a long-term future for Johnny Gargano that is laid out and maybe on the table in terms of his relationship. Also, he trained people to wrestle before he got to WWE. And I've always thought and heard from people that he's one of those guys that he could have a life as a producer and an agent beyond his wrestling years. And when you get that, not everyone gets that, like not even gets that as a worker. And that is word direct from people I know that have, wrestled with him and say that that's something that he would be great for.
Yeah.
And these are people that have trained with him as well. But they aren't saying like, oh, that's for sure. But they're like, it wouldn't surprise them if that's something he wanted to do down the line.
And plus Candice can be on camera too and just not wrestle,
Yeah.
that was already done while she was pregnant. So it's already gone to show that she could still do that too if they decide to do something earlier, like in the late spring and early summer.
Mm-hmm.
And we also seen some of the new era of these workers turned producers produce some tremendous stuff for us. We've seen Jason Jordan produce great stuff. DJ Wilson produce great stuff. Hurricane Helms, all those guys definitely produce great stuff. And Johnny Gargano gives me the sense that he would do great backstage and has a great creative mind for producing some stuff, even on the main roster.
Yeah, and like Kenny Dykstra's getting started in that stuff too as well. And
if you're watching, let us know what you think. Let us know where you want Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Kyle O'Reilly, all these people to go. Let us know. Get in the comments down below, sound off, and jump into the conversation. Let's get into this. WWE is completely changing the entire idea of how they recruit talent. For many, many years, they've looked at recruiting independent wrestlers for about the last 5 or 6 years, which was a major shift for them already. They would get some independent wrestlers, but they would do a mixture of them and different athletes. Now they are kind of really focused on college athletes, specific, college-aged athletes. And that plays into a recent change with collegiate athletes that allows them to sign deals and make money outside of based off of their collegiate names. They're allowed to do that. And it used to be something they can't do. This is a recent change in rules, and WWE is launching into this with the NIL program, the Next in Line program, and they've announced their first class of people. Now, this doesn't mean that these talents have WWE deals. This is a slightly different classification, people. Basically, you're getting your first look. The first look of something you're going to do post-college is going to be with the WWE. And they've signed a lot of different collegiate athletes from a bunch of different fields, specifically the Cavender twins, who have quite the presence on social media, millions of followers on there. They are basketball athletes at D1. They are kind of the most noteworthy names on here, but you're talking a handful of football players, a handful of wrestlers here. You also have some track and field talents, some big boys there. Joseph Kron, you can see him there in the middle, is 7-footer, 400 pounds. All right, so you get you like some attractive guys and young. So you have somebody who's young, who's got a lot of years ahead of them physically. So there's a lot of talent there, a mixture of men and women, very, very diverse class here. WWE going into the collegiate athletic pool to find their next superstar. It's worth noting, none of these people have wrestled yet.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see them kind of jump ahead of the curve with this thing here. Of course, Gable Steveson is the main guy, but of course he is also signed to a WWE deal, but he is able to get paid while in college while he finishes his last season. So it's pretty interesting to see them jump the curve and try to find that next phenom for the sport.
What do you think here, Jose? Is this is certainly unique. I didn't see a big backlash against this. I thought a lot of people would be very, very angry about this because, WWE's not trying to get wrestlers anymore. But if you look at all these people, like, they're young. These are definitely people that are in an athletic program. This will give them access, by the way, to the Performance Center and select, occasions outside of the season, so they can go there and train if they want to. And other people just saying this is just a setup for a Tough Enough thing. Yes, I've heard a lot of people make that connection, but WWE is not. They did trademark Tough Enough again. They upped their trademark of it again.
I missed that show.
Does not mean they're relaunching the show. There's no indication that they're doing that at this time. Could be wrong.
I like that show.
Yeah. Oh, see, the thing here with NIL, I am a big fan of this. I wish I had this program 20 years ago when I was getting out of college, man, because this is something I would have pursued because I'm an ex-football player. I'm an ex-wrestler. So this is something that I would have definitely pursued. This is great for these college athletes that are willing to, enroll in something like this to become WWE superstars. We see countless guys that play football for, X amount of years in college, make their way into the NFL. Same with basketball, same with baseball. Now, you're going to have an opportunity to ditch all those sports and embrace sports entertainment and get paid for it. I think it's absolutely great.
Now, what they're getting paid, we don't know. We don't know what these people are getting paid. But, still, you're getting paid while you're in college, while you're a college athlete, and you get to do this. It's a pretty good deal. I think this is certainly WWE leaning towards a youth movement in a completely different way. This isn't to say I still think you're going to see independent wrestlers get into the company. We saw them sign a
not
handful
as much, as much in the as we've seen in the last 6 years. Because in the last 6
but you'll
years,
still,
it was just this big flood of independent talent coming in.
A great example is Cora Jade. She signed with a company in the last year, and now she's already being featured on TV. There's a handful of independent wrestling. I still think those people will make their way into the company.
She's only
not
20.
What?
She's
only
only
20 years
20. 20.
Can't
Can't even drink yet until next year.
My God.
Didn't stop me.
I meant legally in a bar. You know what I mean? I think she turns 21 next month, actually. So
Big Stacy texting in here saying, "I wish this would have been around when I was in high school. I wanted to wrestle out of high school." Yeah, yeah, definitely here. Here we go. Anthony says there is a link to an article that shows this current class of Performance Center as NIL recruits. True. I've heard that. It isn't clear. It's worth noting that all these people are still in college too at varying different levels, but certainly this is an option. And also, does this mean they can wrestle in the off season? Does this mean they get trained to wrestle in the off season? There's a lot of details about it we don't know. We just know that WWE gets the first look at these people. It's also worth noting with those football guys, that means those guys are not going to pursue pro football. They're not going to, does that mean they're locked into does that lock them out of an NFL deal? Can they get drafted in the NFL if they can't, if they can still do this? Can they opt out of this? Some people will,
They probably could, but they probably know what their stock is at this point. I wonder if a lot of the football guys are seniors and know that their stock is not in the NFL for the next step for them.
Mm-hmm. Coming up, what is the most listened to theme song of 2021? A lot of people take theme songs very seriously in wrestling, very, very seriously.
It's become part of my regular playlist, guys. It's part of my workout routine. I can't get started my workout routine without getting hyped up with the head of the table and getting hyped up with the visionary. That's just my pre-workout, and then I get into the heavy stuff. So yeah, man, I think this is great. And you know what? All you guys probably, it's like, oh, you guys just some marks. This is WWE. Listen, these songs are banging. The guy that produces these and makes these, it used to be CFO $, but CFO $, left the company a little bit over a year ago.
I miss them.
But yes. But the guys that do it now, Def Rebel, they're pretty good too. And they produce pretty much everyone that you hear right now. And pretty much all those songs are on the top list of the most played theme songs of 2021, according to WWE. And guess which one came in at number one, guys? Just take a wild. You want to take a wild guess?
Rajan is texting here saying it could be Seth Rollins' theme. He thinks it's Fire. Some people like the Super Kick Party over in AEW. Ricky Castillo is a fan of that theme song. Awesome 316, a little bit of a classic. But I think Joseph is probably correct here by texting in here and saying Roman Reigns is just amazing. His new one, I believe it would be Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The entire world, the internet has acknowledged the head of the table, Roman Reigns, as the number one most played stream WWE theme song of 2021. The song kicks, it bangs, it'll get you hyped up for anything. If you're driving and you're stuck on traffic, just put the song on and stick up your number ones out the window so you can let everyone know that we the ones.
We the ones. We the ones, guys.
The ones.
We the ones. Come on, Jeremy, get in there. We the ones.
It's up there. You can't see it. Rounding out the top 5, the triumphant return of an old Jeff Hardy theme, No More Words, came in at number 2. A lot of people excited to see that theme come back. And as many had said in the chat, go ahead and let us know in the chat what your favorite WWE theme song is of today and maybe of the past. Visionary was mentioned in the chat by Seth Rollins. That is number 3. The remix for RK Bro with Rev Fury and a little bit of a beat to it for RK Bro, number 4. And Rising Sun for Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs.
Boom.
Tell you, my favorite WWE theme song of all time is The Brood Gangrel. That is my number 1
Dude,
favorite.
it gets, dude.
I would wear, when
Great
I
one.
would buy the WWE the music on CD, I would wear that track out. That was my favorite one of all time.
Sorry.
Why were you even talking? What you doing, dude?
And I tell you what, on the other side of the fence, old Mikey Ruckus is doing a hell of a job at AEW as well, putting together some great themes too. So a lot of good work in pro wrestling for
Tony
the
Khan's
music
putting
side
a lot of
things.
work together by paying all that money to use some popular tracks, you know?
Well,
Pictures
yeah,
aren't cheap.
Ruckus is making a lot of those himself though too, and doing a hell of a job with the Bryan Danielson one, so to speak. Adam Cole is a very popular one. A lot of people love the
Actually,
Adam
I
Cole
had that
song.
on my playlist too.
Yeah,
It's all about the boom.
Yeah, that gets you. That'll definitely get you fired up, man.
Definitely right
so-
up there in my pre-workout too.
Yeah,
Right after
so
Roman Reigns.
when Tony Khan's not digging into his wallet, he's got a guy by Mikey Ruckus that's making some good music too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, a little Motorhead. Can't go wrong with Motorhead, John.
Cannot go wrong with Motorhead here. And there's some news coming in here a little bit here before All Elite Wrestling in Long Island, New York, tonight at the UBS Arena. It's a new arena in New York. And Tony Khan already going on the record saying it may not be the first wrestling show at UBS. This is him referencing WWE being there last week, right? But it is the biggest crowd anybody's drawn to the UBS by a lot. We have the best fans in the world, and these wrestling fans are going to turn the UBS Wednesday, tonight, pushing towards a sellout, which is amazing for our debut. Yes, checking in with Wrestling Ticks. The show's done very, very well, and outsold Monday Night Raw that was there just last week. So the same venue, and that some people knew it was going this direction as well. It's worth noting both companies ran WWE the region quite often, so they both ran there quite a bit. And it's also worth noting is Dynamite is going to run in New Jersey, not less than like an hour away from this arena in just a few weeks as well. So kind of hard. It's hard when you're running a venue a lot, but I think AEW is a hotter ticket in some markets, and then in other markets it's going to be a WWE one too. So good on All Elite Wrestling here. It's worth noting they're going to be running the same arena they ran the night before Thanksgiving in Chicago, Wintrust Arena, which is in downtown Chicago. They're running it again in February, and that show is not selling well. I can tell you from talking to people I know in local live entertainment, they say that show they burn the market, and it was the term. And so we'll see what happens here with them in general. Maybe they'll do a ticket deal before we get there though too. Lot coming up on the channel in the days ahead. Hopefully securing a big WWE interview. Hopefully someone who's going to be in a big match at day one. That is coming up. When I have more information about that, I'll drop that on my Twitter. I will be on the road, Holiday Cheddar Country on the road, my big comedy run up there in Wauwatosa. Going to be at Stockhouse Brewing on December 17th, Friday, December 17th. You can tape SmackDown and Rampage and come and have a beer with me at Craft Beer in the suburbs of Milwaukee. And then I'll be up in Eden, Wisconsin at Two First Pub and Grill on December 18th. 2 nights in a row. All the details at my website where you can watch a clip of my comedy at kevinkellam.com. That is kevinkellam.com. Just click on the comedy tab. Everything is right there. I'll be back here tomorrow yelling about wrestling with you boys.
As always, guys, make sure you catch me every Thursday night here on Facebook and on YouTube at 8 p.m. We're going to be talking at Recons of Wrestling. We're going to be talking everything that went down on War Games. Plus, catch me every afternoon here on the Top Story and on the News Roundup on YouTube. And if you want to watch some of my boxing stuff, you guys can catch me on the Fight Sports Network on TV, depending on your area. Available in South America, in España, in Spain, and in the Miami region. If not, you could type in Fight Sports Network TV online and find the stream if you want to listen to this guy call some boxing and some wrestling and some judo and some karate.
Boom.
Boom.
Karate? How do you do commentary for karate? What's that like?
It's a lot less exciting than wrestling. It's actually like golf.
Okay.
It's like because everybody's like quiet and analyzing the technique.
Okay.
If you hit the right and how many points, and then they stop everything to review everything. Yes.
That was a exactly kick right there. That was a great.
That's exactly what it is.
Look at the form on that kick right there. Yeah.
Tremenda forma en esa patada. Esa patada quedó muy buena.
Ayuda. Or if you watch the NWA back in the day with Power, rest in peace ? Karate.
Karate.
Remember
Karate.
Man,
Karate.
sad
was the
that,
baby.
sad that Josephus left us so soon.
We do have the debrief tonight, guys. 10:05 p.m. immediately after AEW Dynamite. Rico El Glorioso and myself will be breaking down everything you need to know about the fallout from NXT War Games and tonight's AEW Dynamite featuring that Battle Royale. So you can't miss it. 10:05 p.m. tonight on here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling Channel.
Yes, you can my podcast Lost in the Midcard. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus. We might record this week, I don't know yet, but if you just stay tuned to the channel, just subscribe on your podcasting, get the new feed, just search for Lost in the Midcard. Also, we do a video version on YouTube, so just make sure you click that bell, and also you can follow me on Twitter at JB Huskers, and I will let you know if we are off a hiatus this week. If we are, we'll talk about War Games, and we'll talk about Dynamite and the Dynamite Battle Royal, and what else is coming up soon.
Major thing here before we sign off. You've watched this for nearly half an hour, right? This is more than you would watch a sitcom, which would be 22 minutes with commercials, right? Hit the like button, all right? For all the people that are with us on Facebook, we love you guys watching on Facebook. Go subscribe to us over on YouTube. The Sportskeeda bosses want that YouTube. Cracking 24,000. We would love to be able to do 25,000 before the end of the year. All right. But get us above that wall. All right. Get us above that wall. Hammer it. Go subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling on YouTube. Smash it. All right.
Do like Roman Reigns. Smash that notification bell.
Smash them. All right.
Stack it.
Smash them. Stack those subscribers. All right. Go subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Did you have fun? Did you enjoy us talking to wrestles with you? Hit the like button. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it so much. And remember, when watching wrestling, please do the most important thing. Okay. Whatever theme song you want to put on while you do it, please remember to do what, gentlemen?
You got to enjoy it, guys. Enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me talk to you.
Talk to them.
Déjame hablar contigo un momento.